In this video, we're going to look at a method of subtraction called counting on. For this, we're going to be looking at the number we're aiming to reach and the number we start with. So the number we're aiming to reach in this case is 27, and we're starting at 13, and we're going to add on to reach the 27. Now we're going to do this in small chunks. Some of you might be able to see the answer straight away. I'm using a small number just to give you the idea, and then we'll look at some bigger numbers. So we're starting at 13, and we're going to add on 7, and that gets us to 20. 20 is closer to our 27, so our 20 plus 7 will get us our 27. Now to find out what we added, we need to look at the numbers here, the plus 7 and the plus 7. So our next sum is 7 plus 7, which is 14. So 27 minus 13 equals 14. So I'll give you another example with slightly bigger numbers. 472 take away 197. Okay. So in this time, I'm going to start with my 197. And I'm going to add on 3. This will get me closer to my 472. Anything that gets me closer is part of our final sum. That 3 gets us to 200. Now I'm going to look at this and say, okay, I've got 200. If I add on another 200, I'll be on 400. Like I say, anything that gets us closer is what we want to do. Doesn't matter if we add the units first, the tens first, or the hundreds first, as long as it gets us closer each time. Now I'm on 400. I'm going to add, that's not add. I'm going to add 70, and that gets me to 470. A lot of you will have noticed the shortcut I didn't do. This is all about method at this point. Right, now I'm on 470. I am going to add, where did that B come from? I'm going to add 2. And I am now on 472. I now need to add together all the things that made up my sum so far. So I'm going to start by adding my small numbers. So I've got 3 plus 2 plus 70 plus 200. Again, it's personal preference which way you do this, as long as you add them all together. So 3 plus 2 is 5, plus 70 is 75, plus 200 is 275. So 472 minus 197 equals 275. I will show you another. We will use a really big number for this one. There we go. And we're going to take away, let me see, there we go, a complicated one. Okay, the same technique applies. We start with our smaller number, and we add to that to get closer. Now in this case I'm going to add 1, and that's going to get me to 396. Oh, that's not a 3. 39650. I am now going to add 50 to that. So I'm going to go 39650 plus 50. And that gets me to 39700. So 650 plus 50 is 700. 39700 plus 300 will get me to 40000, because this 700 will roll up to 1000, which will roll that up to a 40. 1, 2, 3. Now to that I am going to add another 10,000 to get me to my 50,000, sorry. And then to my 50,000 I'm going to add 2,000 to get my 52000. I'm then going to add to that 900. So I'm now getting to the numbers starting to match the ones that I'm aiming at. 52900 plus 30. You can add 36. I prefer to add my numbers in little chunks, because in the end I'm adding them all up and it just makes it easier for me to see, but it is personal preference. And then I'm going to add 6 to get my target, 52936. Now what did I add all together? I am going to attempt to change colour here. Let's go deep blue, because there's a lot going on here. So single digits, I've got 1 plus 6. My tens, I've got 30 and I've got 50. My hundreds, I've got 300 and I've got 900. My thousands, I've got 2,000. And then I've got my 10,000 at the end. So altogether, I'm just going to break this down into smaller manageable chunks. 1 plus 6, that's 7. 30 plus 50 is 80. 300 plus 900 is 1200, plus 2,000. Well, 10,000 and 2,000 is actually 12,000. Okay. Now it's a little easier to add. So I've got, at the end here, I've got 1,000. I've got 1,200 and I've got 12,000. I can add them together. So I've got one lot of 10,000. I've got 2 lots of 2,000 plus 1 lot of 1,000, so that's 3,000, plus 200, plus my 80 and my 7, which is 87. Right, now it's easy to see the answer, 13287. So I added it in little manageable chunks. This is how you can take a horrible subtraction and make it into something manageable. Now there are a lot of shortcuts we could have done, and the more you do of this method, the more you see the shortcuts, and you can say, okay, well, Once I've reached that point where it says 50,000 here, I can just add 2,936 and I'm straight there, and I can just add that all together at the end. But if you're struggling with it, or if your brain's having a not playing today mode, break it down into the small chunks, do all the small stuff, and you'll get the answer just the same as any other way, any other method. Give it a go, see what you think. It's the way my brain works. It might be the way your brain works. Doesn't matter if it's not. There are plenty of other options for subtraction that you can have a look at and find what works for you. Thanks. Bye.